this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
This episode's sponsored by Hop Water. You can love beer and still skip the alcohol. That's the idea behind Hop Water. It's sparkling water infused with hops, giving you that crisp, hoppy bite with bright citrus notes, inspired by your favorite IPA. It's non-alcoholic, with no calories, no sugar, and none of the heaviness that comes with beer. And what makes it different is it's infused with adaptogens and nootropics like reishi and L-theanine, designed to help you feel balanced and relaxed. Whether you're cutting back, doing a dry month, or just want something lighter at the end of the day, this is what people are switching to. Head to hopwater.com now and stock your fridge with 25% off your entire order. That's HOPWTR.com.
What God started in my life, He's going to finish.
The Joel Osteen Daily Podcast.
Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. What was meant for my harm, Lord, I want to thank you right now. You're turning to my advantage.
Your daily source of hope and encouragement.
Your second wind is on its way. God is about to breathe on your life in a new way.
Listen to the Joel Osteen Daily Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Why should you listen to Armstrong and Getty on demand?
We're not boring. A lot of news is boring.
And tedious.
And depressing.
And makes you angry. You don't want to live your life like that.
Hey, I'm Jack Armstrong. He's Joe Getty.
We're Armstrong and Getty.
We try to bring you the truth.
And help you figure out this crazy modern world.
How about something about a comedic tone?
We have a winner.
Yes. Listen to Armstrong and Getty on demand on the iHeartRadio app,
Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And this referee, who is a little bit suspect, if you check his past. I don't want to say that because I don't like to create controversy, but very suspect. If you'd like, I'll provide you with the past.
You're listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson.
Good Tuesday morning. Nice to have you with us on the 47 Morning Update, and we've got very big breaking news. First up, Graham Platner is accused of breaking into a woman's house and sexually assaulting her. The campaign has now canceled multiple events, and Democrats are now saying, okay, maybe you should drop out. So why did it take so long? We break down the timeline. It's the 47 Morning Update, and it starts right now.
Story number one.
Graham Platner, the Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate in Maine, is now facing yet again another devastating allegation from a former partner, Jenny Racicot, who told Politico that while she and Platner had been involved in an on and off relationship in 2021, he allegedly entered her rural Maine home uninvited one night while intoxicated. Platner allegedly forced himself on her while she repeatedly told him to stop. She told Politico, "I remember him grabbing my pelvis and being really forceful of me." She explained that, quote, "I remember the specific moment where I thought to myself, like, this is no longer my choice." Platner, of course, has come out, just like he has with all the other allegations against him, denying the allegations and calling it false and politically motivated. But the political fallout has now been immediate and severe. Democrats who were protecting him at all costs are now, well, saying, okay, maybe it's time for him to get out of the race. And that is the story, not just the allegation itself, but the way the Democratic Party handled Graham Platner until it became politically impossible to keep pretending that this was somehow not a problem. Now, this was not the first red flag, and that's what voters need to remember. Platner had already faced scrutiny over disturbing past online comments and allegations about his behavior towards women, and even a tattoo of the SS, yes, the Nazi tattoo on his chest, which of course he said he did not understand at the time and later then covered it up, yet there's video out there and others who said, oh, he knew exactly what it meant. And even with all of those allegations and problems, what did the Democratic Party do? What did the progressives do? What did the socialists do? What did the communists do? They backed him and rallied behind him and kept giving him funding. They treated every warning sign like a Republican smear campaign instead of actually looking at the facts. Now, after this latest allegation, the The same party that protected him is running for the exit. It reminds me a lot of Eric Swalwell in California. When they realized it could cost them the governor's mansion, they decided to turn on the guy they protected at all costs. Representative Ro Khanna has now withdrawn his endorsement and urged Platner to leave the race. Senator Ruben Gallego, for example, as well as Citizens United, they both now pulled their support. Maine Democratic leaders are also calling on him to withdraw, saying the party needs to move on and focus on defeating the Republican Senator Susan Collins. So let's just be honest about what happened here. Democrats did not suddenly discover standards. They discovered liability. It's no different than what we saw in California. It is no different than we see almost every time a Democrat gets in trouble publicly. They don't care what you did as long as they feel like they can save you. But when they realize maybe you're too big of a liability, they'll immediately turn on you. And if you don't believe me, call Eric Swalwell. When the scandals were politically survivable, they will always defend you. And when the allegations become politically catastrophic, they'll abandon you instantly. It is truly the definition of hypocrisy. This is not moral clarity, is the point I want to make. This is simply a political calculation. And this is where the hypocrisy is impossible to ignore on a nationwide scale. This is the same Democratic Party that lectures America constantly about believing all women, accountability, character, decency, and protecting victims. They run campaigns on moral superiority. They also say Republicans are dangerous, unfit, and disqualified over allegations or rhetoric or past behavior. But when the accused candidate has a D next to his name or her name, and it might help them win a Senate seat, suddenly the standards, they disappear. They don't even just become flexible. They just don't care. And then they always say this, well, we're going to let the process play out. Well, suddenly the process played out. And now they say, well, we need to look at the full context of everything. Well, now that we have more of the, quote, full context of Graham Platner, you got to ask yourself this question. Why is it there's such a big double standard, especially in the media? When it's a Republican, they demand resignation before the ink is dry on the headline. Platner has been, well, surrounded by controversy since the day he announced his candidacy. And now he is reportedly reassessing his quote-unquote campaign because the Democrats have cut off the spigot, the money. And without money, how do you run? Now, again, he has denied the allegations and has not immediately exited the race at the moment I'm recording this. Now, there's also something else that's interesting. Under Maine's election rules, Democrats still have a short window to replace him, and that's really what this is about. If they can get him out of the race and he withdraws by July the 13th, then he's no longer their problem. They'll just throw someone else in there. It almost reminds me of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And the deadline explains a lot of the panic. This is actually organized panic. It's not actual. So all of a sudden, you're going to see the big headlines coming from the media as well. NBC Nightly News is going to be talking about this. And before, they didn't discuss it at all. Why? Because this is all about getting rid of a candidate that they believe now is a political liability and may not be able to win. And that's why they're doing it before July the 13th. It's not about, well, moral clarity. Now, it also is about the math, and the Senate map is really important. It's also about Susan Collins. It's about Democrats realizing they may have to nominate a candidate with, well, a lot less baggage, and then maybe they would have a chance of beating Susan Collins. Now, remember, this was supposed to be their political populist hero. Platner was sold by the same people that are destroying him now as a rugged outsider, as a veteran, as a fake oyster farmer, the left-wing fighter who could take on the establishment. And to be clear, the most progressive Democrats embraced him as a movement candidate, a socialist, a communist. But now that movement has a major problem. The candidate that they elevated is engulfed in allegations and scandals that even they can't overcome. The most revealing part is how fast the Democrats moved, only after the allegations became public and then politically unavoidable. The party did not lead. It only reacted. It did not protect its standards. It protected its strategy until the strategy collapsed. And there's a deadline of the 13th to find that new candidate. That's the double standard voters should see again and again. And why would you vote for a party that does this? One set of rules for Republicans, another set of rules for Democrats. Now, on the set of lectures, by the way, for the country, many Americans should be really angry because Democrats now want credit for demanding Platner step aside after spending months ignoring the warning signs, brushing off all the scandals, and pretending concerns about him were just right-wing attacks. That's literally what they said. You don't get credit, by the way, for arriving late to the truth, and they knew the truth all along. You don't get credit for accountability only after the political cost becomes too high, because that's not actually accountability at all. And you don't get credit for pretending to be shocked when the concerns were already there. The bottom line is this. The story is bigger than one candidate in Maine. It's really about a Democratic Party that claims to own the moral high ground while repeatedly lowering the bar for its own side. It's about the danger of partisan blindness and the media helping these stories disappear until they need them to get rid of their own. That's why this is, well, all about hypocrisy. There's also one other thing I'll say. If the Democrats were actually being honest right now about their standards, they would come out defending Graham, saying he deserves due process. They would say they're just allegations and deny them. And they would say that Democrats deserve the candidate they chose in Graham Platner to be their candidate on Election Day. But they're not doing any of that. Why? Because this is all about politics, not about moral clarity.
Thank you for listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. Please make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. And for more in-depth news, also subscribe to the Ben Ferguson Podcast, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
What God started in my life, He's going to finish.
The Joel Osteen Daily Podcast.
Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. What was meant for my harm, Lord, I want to thank you right now. You're turning to my advantage.
Your daily source of hope and encouragement.
Your second wind is on its way. God is about to breathe on your life in a new way.
Listen to the Joel Osteen Daily Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Why should you listen to Armstrong and Getty on demand?
We're not boring. A lot of news is boring.
And tedious.
And depressing.
And makes you angry. You don't want to live your life like that.
Hey, I'm Jack Armstrong. He's Joe Getty.
We're Armstrong and Getty.
We try to bring you the truth.
And help you figure out this crazy modern world.
How about something about a comedic tone?
We have a winner.
Yes. Listen to Armstrong and Getty on demand on the iHeartRadio app,
Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.